Hello everyone, welcome back. Ready for another chess puzzle deep dive.
Absolutely always love a good brain teaser.
All right, so let's set the board. Today's position is, well, a little crowded.
Sounds fun. Let's hear it.
Okay, so for white, we've got a pawn on a4, bishop on c3, rook on h3,
Okay.
knight on f2, pawn on g2 and h2, rook on a1, and finally, the king on e1.
All right, white's all set up. Now what about black?
Black has their king on g8, pawn on a7, g7.
Okay, keeping track.
Pawn on b6, e6, e5, bishop mirroring whites on c4, queen on f4, and last one, a pawn on d3.
All right, got it. Quite a bit going on there. So what's the puzzle? What are we looking for?
Well, with black to move, we need to figure out their best play here.
Yeah, a lot of pieces on the board, lots of potential moves.
Exactly. It can feel a little overwhelming to know where to even start.
Well, I always try to look for, subtle things that maybe most players would overlook at first glance.
I like that. Any particular subtle thing jumping out at you in this position?
Actually, yeah. Take a look at that black pawn on d3. It's right in the center. Kind of unassuming, but...
Yeah, I see it. Seems blocked by white's pawn, though. Can't really go anywhere.
See, that's the trick. That pawn on d3, pushing it to d2, that's the key to unlocking this puzzle.
Really? Pushing a pawn that's practically stuck. Why would it be such a strong move?
A couple reasons. First, on the surface, it disrupts white's pawn structure, creates weaknesses, isolates pawns, makes them vulnerable.
Ah, so it's not about immediate attack, more like setting up future trouble.
Exactly. Think of it like knocking out a support beam. It might not cause the whole house to collapse right away, but it weakens the structure overall.
I like that analogy. But wouldn't white just recapture the pawn, say, with their bishop on c3?
They could, but that's where things get even more interesting. If white takes with the bishop on d2,
Yeah.
black can then swing their queen over to e5.
Ah, okay. Put some pressure on white's king, limits escape squares, control some key diagonals.
Precisely. And after white, likely trying to relieve some pressure, moves their rook from h3 to e3.
Black can go queen e5 to a1.
You got it. That queen move controls a lot of space, threatens white's back rank, and really limits their king's safety.
Wow, didn't see that coming. That's sneakily powerful.
Right. And this whole sequence, while not a checkmate, no immediate game over,
Right.
it gives black such a significant advantage going forward.
So it's all about that subtle pawn push at the start, setting off a chain reaction.
Exactly. A seemingly insignificant move snowballing into a much bigger picture.
All right, so putting it all together, the optimal sequence is black's pawn d3 to d2. White likely captures with their bishop c3 to d2.
Then black queen f4 to e5, forcing white rook h3 to e3 to defend. And finally, black queen e5 to a1.
Boom! There you have it. A masterclass in positional chess.
Always a pleasure to break down these puzzles.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Anytime.
Thank you for listening.